Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Parishscope. This is the newsletter of St. John's Lutheran Church, Sam Prairie. We're the ones out in the country. I am Pastor Chris Sansom.
And I'm Casey Drews. I'm the contemporary DBG.
No, DPG.
That's what I said last time. I thought we were, I don't know, man.
I get all kinds of confused. And I said this last time too. I need to go back and I need to check the actual, the actual episode. What did we say?
I don't know, but
what did we say?
We'll find out.
I need to find out.
DBG, DPG, one of those. Anyway.
Lots of letters right there.
Yes.
Lots of letters. Well, everybody, it is after Christmas for you. Now, for Casey and I, it's still not Christmas yet.
No.
We're recording this a little early because we know we're probably not going to have time come the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to take a step forward and actually going to try to get this done ahead of time. However, today is our Christmas special where we're going to be talking about Christmassy things.
Yes.
So what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to kind of start this one off just by talking about, first and foremost, why Christmas, why now? And honestly, over the last several weeks, we've kind of covered most of this anyway. Christmas actually means Christ Mass, which means a Christian service featuring the Eucharist, our Holy Communion. It is considered a high point in the church year, a point of significance in the church year. It marks the end of the Advent season and the beginning of the Christmas season. And so there's a lot of stuff going on here. But basically, it is a day when we mark the birth of Jesus. And before I go too crazy with this, I wanted to kind of say this, and this is one of those things that I think is fun and unique and significant. One of the unique things and significant things about this is that we actually mark a calendar day. And here's why this is significant. I remember when I was in seminary and we would talk about, some of the various, other faiths and other gods and even ancient religions. One of the unique things about most of them, and I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them, is they don't ever feature a calendar day. In Greek mythology, Zeus came down and impregnated some woman, and here comes Hercules. And you go, okay, well, when did that happen?
Right.
Well, they don't give you any historical markers.
Right.
They just don't. And so you have a lack of history with all these various faiths. And now, again, I'm not saying that none of the faiths have any history. They all have history. But in terms of saying God came down and visited Earth, if any of them make that claim, ask them for historical markers. Pretty much all of them can't give it. Christianity can give it.
Yeah. And
that's one of the reasons that text, when we talk about how it's the first census after Quirinius was governor and yada, yada, yada. That's why that text is so significant. It's one that we just read right past all too often. But the reality is that what that is doing, what Luke is doing there, is he is telling you a very precise date. He's saying, look, this is on the calendar. Here it is. Here's when this took place.
Right.
And that's really significant. And so we also have a date on the calendar. Now, and again, I think, did we talk about this?
I think we talked about
this, whether or not Jesus was born on December 25th. Well, honestly, probably not.
Yeah.
But there's a reason. And again, you can go back and listen to one of our previous podcasts for some of the reasons and the calendars versus the Gregorian versus Julian calendar and all that kind of stuff and how that all kind of worked out. But the important thing about Christmas is realizing that your Savior was born. That God was born. I mean, man, I can't even wrap my head around that. I mean, it's just so amazing, so significant, so mind-blowing. But think about what you're really celebrating on Christmas morning. That Jesus Christ was born and wrapped in swaddling clothes and laid in a manger, a feeding trough. And there's really something significant about that. And it's a historical marker. We can put it on the map. We can tell you when it happened, at least roughly, as best as we can. in terms of even with those date markers, some of the historical records been, kind of destroyed over literally 2 millennia. So some of it's a little hard to place, but we have general ideas. And that should blow all of your minds. It blows my mind, for sure. For sure it does. But that's what we're here for, right? That's what Christmas is all about. Christ came to earth. He was promised. All the prophets promised that he was coming, and here he is. And so on Christmas Day, we also get to come to church, and we get to receive Christ's true body and blood. And I mean, I know this is coming out on a Tuesday. Christmas Day was yesterday, so hopefully some of you were able to make it to church. If not, you have church coming up this Sunday. But it's just, it's amazing that we get to come together and actually worship our Lord and our Savior, who most certainly came to earth, who also died and rose again and ascended into heaven. And we say that every week in the creeds, but man, that's what today is all about. That's what, or not today, that's what Christmas is all about. That's what Christmas season is all about, that Christ came to earth. We have those signs sometimes that says like Jesus is the reason for the season, and he most certainly is. There's a reason we go to church for Christmas Day. There's a reason we have big meals, families. There's a reason we give gifts, with all of this. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to start by just talking about the fact that Christmas is really all about Christ. Yes, family comes together. Yes, all of those things happen. And those are all beautiful, wonderful things. And those are actually a wonderful way to spend Christmas. But Christ is the reason for the season. And he really is the reason for all of this. And so that's how I wanted to start. But now after that, I wanted to move straight in.
Okay.
Casey?
Yes.
What are your favorite Christmas traditions?
Ooh.
I know it's a tough one. It's a tough question.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of what all.
Now I know the tempting one is to say gifts, obviously, opening presents.
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't say. I don't think of that as a tradition, only because like pretty much everybody does it. So
that's fair.
I would, growing up, I was always excited because my mom's side of the family, which were the Lutherans, by the way.
Lutherans.
They always kind of said we celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve with them. Mm-hmm. So I just always really looked forward and I always felt really like it was so cool because it was like we get to open our presents like Christmas Eve with them. You know? And I was like, it was so cool. I was like, oh man, we get them early, Yeah. So that was always a tradition with them. I always really loved that. And then my family has something that they call Christmas tree bread. Have you ever?
I have never heard of this.
So Christmas tree bread is basically a gigantic cinnamon roll. Like at least to my knowledge, I have never actually made one myself. I should ask. I think I understand it for the most part. Is you pretty much you like roll up what is basically a cinnamon roll, or they've done like pecan, like a kind of like a pecan pie sort of idea wrapped in it, and then you kind of snake it around up so it looks kind of like a Christmas tree when you
just in case you're wondering, I have Googled it and we are looking at pictures, and I do not believe that any of these pictures do it justice.
Yeah, that's not at least what my family does. Now there's certain things that I mean, that's something we'll have to talk about later, if there's any traditions or anything that you've never found anybody else who do. Because, so it was kind of a cinnamon roll thing where it's just like a big, giant, long, rolled up, when you roll up a thing of cinnamon rolls and then you cut it, but you don't cut it. You kind of rope it around into this back and forth thing, and then it kind of ends up looking like a Christmas tree. And then they would put like green icing on it. That kind of looks. Are those just cookies or are those? Because they kind of look like Christmas trees.
Those might be cookies.
But it's the same. Like it's the same shape as like a Christmas tree.
What about that?
Sort of thing.
What about something like that with icing on it?
So that is basically. So what we're looking at is basically cinnamon rolls that are in the shape, like kind of bunched together in the shape of a Christmas tree. And so it was. It basically is that, except my family never cut it into like separate cinnamon rolls. It was just one long thing. So you would cut yourself like a part of it, and like. you'd move down the line there.
I am incredibly intrigued by this.
Yeah, I'll have to try to make one then, and then bring it sometime for maybe one of our episodes or something.
Absolutely, we're gonna have to try this.
Yeah, it was but that's so funny because it's like they would always make one that was a cinnamon roll one, and then I think maybe like a peach or something like that. There's something like a fruity one. I can't remember. Oh. And so I'll have to try to replicate that because it doesn't look like it's on the internet anywhere. Another thing, now this isn't Christmas, but I'm going to quickly say that my great grandmother, she always used to do graham crackers and milk.
Yes,
she'd take graham crackers and you take basically a whole pack and you break it up into little squares, throw it in a bowl, and then you'd pour milk in and you'd eat it like cereal. And my family, I've just grown up with that my whole life. And then I didn't realize when I brought that up to people, and they're like, "What? Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's."
I mean, it's kind of awesome, really.
I mean, it's pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so but the Christmas tree bread, I would say that's kind of the main tradition. I don't know, besides just kind of the normal stuff, my family always went to like our Christmas Eve service and all that stuff, and going to the church. And like I said, I grew up in a church with no traditions. Yeah. That was the thing. But at least Christmas was the one time of year that our good, a guy in the church named Terry, he used to decorate the church, and he was an interior designer, very, very good. And it was always like beautiful. The whole entire church was just gorgeous. And so that was always cool because, we didn't really have tradition, but that was kind of the only time we had something that kind of happened every year, Yeah. So, I'm trying to think if there's any other real specific weird things we would do. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. What about yourself? How about any there down in Missouri? Any traditions?
So the tradition where I grew up was always the same, and it's fun because I think this is actually going to resonate with a lot of our members, and part of it is that Christmas Eve was a time for the kids program.
Ah, yeah.
And so what they would do is Christmas Eve about 7:00. That's when the children's program is. And so there's for instance, if Christmas Eve happened to fall on a Monday or a Tuesday, that's the only they'd have like a 7:00 showing of the Christmas Eve program. Mm-hmm. The kids all receive a bag. The bag is filled with peanuts.
Peanuts, yeah.
An apple, an orange, and various candy bars.
Peanuts, an apple, an orange, and candy bars.
Oh, man, it's perfect. It's the greatest thing ever.
I just picture it as now the problem is I'm picturing it as like a Kroger plastic bag.
No,
with just
paper
a bunch of peanuts in it.
No, paper bag.
Okay,
paper
bag. Sorry.
I will find a way to make you one of these, and I will bring one to you.
All right, we'll do.
Casey, I'm going to find it and bring it to you.
I'll try to make a Christmas tree bread thing.
I'm just going to give you a bag of peanuts.
And you'll give me a bag of peanuts.
And an apple and an orange and candy bars. Every kid got one.
And kids love this, I'm assuming.
Is this
an exciting
absolutely,
thing? Okay.
Absolutely. And then the adults would all steal it.
Right. Right.
It was great. Like the kids would all want the candy bars. The adults all wanted all the peanuts. Mm-hmm. And so everybody was happy. And then the apple and the orange sat on the counter. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody eating healthy.
No, we're all, come on,
But yeah, so that was the thing. And then so for a Christmas service, you'd either have to go way late at night, so at 11:00, or you'd have to go, you'd go on Christmas Day. And we traditionally went on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of that tradition was to go to the Christmas Eve program. And then while my grandma was still with us, we'd go to her house.
Yeah.
And then we'd all we'd have all the grandkids open the Christmas gifts or whatever. Yeah. And one of my uncles was always very, very good at it. They would they'd trick us kids, so we'd go in the other room and then all of a sudden boom, all the gifts were there.
Whoa, what happened?
It was yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. It was just great. And so that was a huge part of our Christmas tradition. And I love to talk because in Beaufort anyway, St. John's in Beaufort, They still do that. They're like, that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, it's no different.
Bag of peanuts, an apple, an orange, and some candy bars.
Pretty much. Actually, I don't know if they still do that. I hope they do. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I know they still give something, but I hope it's still a brown paper bag with all that stuff.
That's
It was just great. You look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
You know, even though like it's all stuff that you could just go get anytime, it didn't matter. It was something about getting that brown paper bag with the peanuts and the apple and the orange and all the stuff. It's like, yeah.
Now, I have to say, so you brought up orange, which is like sort of triggering to me because not triggering in a bad way. I'm triggered.
You're so triggered. You're angry.
My great grandmother, her name was Mary Peck. My great grandmother, she lived till she was 94.
Okay.
And there was this whole story about when she was a kid, you know, they didn't have cars. So they rode on a sleigh, and her Christmas present, singular present, was an orange. Yeah. That was her Christmas gift. And during the sleigh ride to get to her grandparents' house, it fell out of the sleigh into the snow somewhere. So she, you know, lost her only Christmas present she got for the whole day. And every year they would get her one of those like chocolate oranges.
Yeah.
And every year, even as a child, I thought, why would you do that to her? You're bringing up the worst Christmas in her whole life.
Yeah.
And you're going, hey, remember that time you had the worst Christmas ever? Let's remind you of that real quick every year. And I always thought that was just horrible. Why are you doing that to her? I'd be like, what was the best Christmas you ever had?
Yeah.
Let's get you that, you know?
Right.
So every year she would always open up the little, you know, chocolate orange and eat a couple pieces. And to be honest, she never looked happy while she was eating it to me. And that was just me. I think everybody else loved it. They're like, yeah, you know, the whole story about the orange. And I just always thought that's like abusive. You guys are just like making her relive that every year. So I don't know. It's just funny. Sorry, you said orange. It made me think of that.
Triggering.
Yeah.
So triggered right now. I feel like I need safe space. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I couldn't help it.
I do just say, as far as tradition, I didn't think about this when it brought up, but I can't really say it's a tradition because I've only gone a few times. But my senior year of high school, I did madrigals, which I don't know if not everybody knows madrigals because at least in Pekin, they do vespers, which is the choir and the orchestra play together.
Yeah.
And we didn't have an orchestra, so we did madrigals, which is you dress up in Renaissance clothes and you have like a meal and you eat and you drink wassail. That was the best part. Yeah. And the cool thing actually is that we had these mugs that they were pewter mugs that had like Washington madrigals, like it not just etched or engraved into it. It was actually like molded into it. And at the end, all the seniors got to take a mug.
Ooh.
So I still have that mug. I don't have a ton of stuff from high school, but I still have that mug, and every year I pull it out, and like I got to have some, at least one, drink with it because it's just so great. But the madrigals, even though you dress up in tights and you put on a big unflattering outfit and everything, it's just something about that's really. It's like the music is fun and it's a good time. So I always remember I've only gone a few times since I was in madrigals, but you kind of act a fool, but then you still love it though. You're like, I know I look ridiculous and I know like people are probably making fun of me, but it's too much fun. I don't know something about it. So that's I always love in being a musician. I actually personally am one of the people who love Christmas music.
Yeah.
But some musicians hate it.
Now, when you did the Vespers, did you realize at that time that was actually a church service?
Vespers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, the only time I did Vespers was when I did a maternity leave for some of the directors at Pekin. So I did do Vespers, but ours was it was during COVID, so it was all digital, and we had to. So what we did is we recorded everybody singing. The accompanist at the high school, who's amazing, BJ, he recorded everything, or he got all the files, edited them together. I mean, he did some major work on that to make it all line up. And then I filmed every group separately, and then we made this massive like half-hour video. And I tell you what, we put so many hours of work into that thing. And we posted it, and it was like the big grand reveal. Look at this video, and it got like 30 views. And every once in a while I message him and go, hey, remember how amazing that Vespers video we did was and how nobody watched it? He's like, yeah, I remember.
Oh, we're finding that.
Yeah, it's online. You can,
Yeah, where is it on like Facebook?
On YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. And but yeah, it was during COVID, so it was like, no one could perform live.
And that was for what school district?
For Pekin High School.
For Pekin High.
Yeah.
Oh, we're looking at that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
we're bringing it back.
Yeah, you can take it. I mean, I can.
It's
I can
Christmas
post it
time.
sometime.
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We're bringing back Vespers.
Yeah, bringing it back. It's not. I mean, it sounds great because BJ's really good at editing, and then I put so much effort into that video, man. I edited. I just worked so hard on it, and then I thought, man, they're gonna love this.
Yeah,
and then it's like there's like 30 views. There's like 10 times that many kids in the program. Not 10 times, but it's like there's like at least 80 to 100 kids in the program. Not all of them even watched it. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, well.
That's what you get,
It
was a different time.
It was different times. Different times.
Yeah. But Vespers is really cool. It's a really beautiful event as well, with the orchestra and choir. It's
so
amazing.
one of my favorites is actually Rachmaninoff's Vespers.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, it's like you can get it as an album, but I mean,
okay.
But and that's how I've listened to it mainly.
Yeah.
I used to actually listen to that. That was one of the things back in the day. I remember whenever I got my first smartphone and all that, and kind of figured out my speakers and stuff. One of the things that really did blow my mind, because I don't know what. Have you ever had that moment where something occurs to you and it's like it's something every day, it's common, but you're like, man, like 100 years ago, this would have been earth-shattering.
Right.
And that was just it. Like I am listening to this, one of the most beautifully sung, recorded, symphony and orchestra all together doing Rachmaninoff's Vespers, and I got full-on surround sound coming out of this little phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, most people would pay money to go listen to such a thing, and I'm like, I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
I'm awake, and this is relaxing. I mean, it just does, but it just kind of blew my mind, a little bit thinking about stuff like that. I mean, I get that with a lot of stuff, but yeah.
But that's I think that's kind of normal though, because the tradition. I'm pulling out my music history knowledge.
That's right.
Which is not much, but I did not do well in that class. But the one thing I do remember, have I told you this? How I had a class where I never got a grade above an F on anything. Paper, test, pop quiz, nothing.
Oh.
I passed the class. That's how bad the curve was in that class.
Wow.
Yeah, so I walked away passing the class. I walked away with zero knowledge of music history, and so that's how that went. And I paid a lot of money for it. So anyway, but the one thing I do remember was actually something in general music, because these guys would write for very wealthy people. Mm-hmm. The wealthy people would pay for a musician to like have a career, basically, and say, I like you. I just want you to write music for my friends and us when we have parties. And that's really what a lot of those guys did. And the surprise symphony is the one like bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
Boom 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 boom. And then it has this boom 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 boom. And it has this real loud bum, like really loud note, like or chord that the whole group plays. That was because everybody would feast and they'd be so tired and just like, they just ate, their belly's full, they're warm, and they'd start playing and everybody would fall asleep. So that symphony was literally, he wrote that people. To be like, wake up, listen to this. That was what it was for. So it's pretty common. I don't, I think symphonies forever have been putting people to sleep. So don't worry about it. And I say that as someone who plays, here's my thing also, is that I'm a drum set player. So when people go, well, blah, blah, blah's symphony. No, I don't. That's not my literature. I don't. Yeah. It's like saying, well, you've read that German blah, blah, blah book. No, you don't read German. Like, or, well, maybe you do now. But
I don't, not yet.
But it's like,
one day,
when someone's, it's like, no, that's not my thing. Symphonies aren't in my, they don't have a drum set, so I don't listen to it.
That's right. We don't listen to it if there's no drums.
I'm sorry. Same thing with musicals. I can't, if there's a musical that has like no drum set, I'm out. Like, people will be like, I love music, man. I don't, because there's no drum set. Anyway, we should get back on task.
This next bit is for the one person we haven't offended yet. No, I'm just...
And I'm not saying people can't enjoy it. I'm just saying, for me, I'm a drum set guy. So it's like when I hear a boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, all I can think of is I would hate to play that. That's all I can think of. It's not, oh, wow, this is beautiful. I just think, I don't want to do that, So anyway, back on to Christmas. I'm sorry, I went off on a big long tangent.
Oh man, that was awesome.
But anyway, Rachmaninoff's Vespers.
Beautiful going to sleep music.
Good.
Sung by a fantastic symphony and orchestra, and I use it to go to sleep sometimes.
Hey, now I'm going to have to look that up.
I also use Handel's Messiah too. I absolutely love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I use.
Do you get woken up when they get to Hallelujah?
No, actually not. Believe it or not. You would think I would. You really do, but I don't.
think that'd startle you awake a little bit, but no. Okay, well, that's cool too.
So I will say this though, and this is kind of going. I do sometimes get woken up with the Rachmaninoff Vespers. There is one piece that they sing, and it's in the middle, and the symphony does this thing with their voices, and it's hard to describe, but it makes it sound like rain.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of trickle down the rain, da, 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 and then they do it over and over again. And I do wake up to that sometimes.
Really interesting.
It's it's one of those things where you wake up, you go, oh, why did I wake up? Oh, this is pretty. like I like it.
They don't do the rain effect, the like snapping.
No. They do this thing again. It's something that they're doing with their voices. Again, I can't do it, so it's hard for me to explain. But it's really cool.
Well, now I'm intrigued. Now I'll have to try to listen to it. If I can get through it without a drum set, we'll see. That's my problem. I'm sorry.
Hard.
It's just
I don't remember drums in this one.
It's just funny. But anyway, back to our Christmas. Sorry about that. I got excited because I don't know much about music history, but I know that's really the only tidbit. Which, hey, that was something I literally learned in general music in like third grade. And I remember that because they made us put our heads down and they turned off all the lights and then they played the Surprise Symphony and it startled all of us.
Oh,
and they're like, that's what it was for. So,
this is for you.
That's right.
Going to sleep in my class.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we were talking about Christmas traditions.
Well, Vespers and madrigals.
It all works out.
It
all works out.
Are you now? Oh, this is important.
Okay.
When do you start listening to Christmas music? Or do you?
That is a solid question. Now, okay. Here's the thing, everybody. Here's the thing.
Let's
just roll this down.
Hold on, everybody.
Hold on. There is a methodology if you want to be appropriate.
Okay. All right. I hear you.
You know that meme that floats around from Downton Abbey and it has that one girl and do you know Downton Abbey?
I don't really know Downton Abbey.
Okay. So it was a show. It was on like the BBC, but the one gal, the main gal in the show,
Abby. Abby Downton.
No.
Oh, darn. Okay, sorry.
But anyway, and I forget her name, and it's not Abby.
It's not Abby, sorry.
But there's a meme floating around, and she's got this like scowl on her face, and it's like, at this house we do this appropriately or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the meme always goes with it, like at this house we do this, we only do it appropriately or something. And that's like the meme. And like, so there's a lot of them that float around this time of year, like I don't take my Christmas decorations down till Epiphany appropriately. And it's like, there really are some things, Christmas music as a whole should not technically be listened to until Christmas Day. And Christmas decorations, they go up on Advent 1, and they come down on Epiphany, which is January 6th.
Yes.
Now, your question, though, didn't have to do with what is appropriate and what should I do, but what do I do? In which case, I would say I pretty much start listening to Christmas music the second it comes on the radio. The second 106.9 switches over to Christmas music, I'm listening. Now, here's the thing, though. I do get burned out on it a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, I'll listen to it for like several days, and then I'm like, boom, turn it to the country station for a little bit.
Yeah.
I just need a break for a little while, and then I can turn it back.
Right.
But it's like I do need breaks, like intermittent there. It's just,
I get you. Yeah,
it's just too much.
Yeah, I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
I start listening to Christmas. Well, here's the thing. So when I was, for the last 10 years, I've kind of gotten burned out the last few years, in all honesty. But starting out, I started my big band back in 2011. And so, but you have to practice the music before you get to the concert.
Oh, sure.
And when I started the group, we weren't that good. So we really had to have that music ahead of time. And so I would start listening to Christmas music end of August, September.
Okay.
Because I had to arrange music. So I was like, all right, I need to start listening to Christmas music, get into it. And then I would write stuff, throughout September, October. We'd start working on it end of October into November. And then we were ready for our concerts in December. And so I got really into that. And I have a whole entire binder that is strictly just Christmas music. Of my big band has. I've gotten a little more burned out in recent years where I'm like, I don't really want to listen to Christmas music right now. But I think this is the first year my band's recording an album, so I'm not doing any Christmas music this year. So I think that's going to be good for me.
Kind of a reset button.
Yeah, I need a little bit of a cleanse from that. Get it out, and then next year I'll be a lot more excited. Like, let's get back into the Christmas music.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But I think that's good.
Yeah. But I've had fun because I try to find like kind of weird, obscure Christmas songs because we have like kind of all the classics. So it's fun to. One song that people told me they wanted to do is this song. He's just a songwriter who's not like super famous, but he has a song called 2600, and it's all about a song about as a child he wanted the Atari 2600.
Okay.
And so the song's it's all about that. And it's pretty funny, but it's Christmas, it's all about Christmas. And that's all he wants for Christmas is a 2600. And it's pretty funny. But we have like that song, we have these like, it's not a famous song, but we have this real obscure Christmas song. So it's fun. I have a good time with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say, like ever since I moved here, other traditions have been added, to me. So for instance, here's a question for you. Do you go see the lights?
You know what? I never saw the lights until we had kids.
Really?
Yeah, never went. I don't know. It's just my family just never went to it.
Yeah.
So now that I have kids, we go with them and they love it. So it's a lot. And I will say this is going to be, this might raise because I get into a little bit of a heated argument with my my in-laws because they live up in the LaSalle, Peru area. And they have a light show up there as well. It is so long. It's like, can we get out of here? This is like going way too long. Like it's super long. And there's actually a spot within it that you can either go like, hey, you want to go to the rest of it or do you want to leave early? Because it's so long. But here's the thing about it is that the Festival of Lights in East Peoria that we have, much more impressive. Shorter, but more intricate. So to me, I'd rather go to the one that's more like impressive stuff. Everything's like really crazy, because theirs are pretty much all just like a flat, like, there's an elf or something.
Yeah.
And like, there's a star or something. And ours, it's like, there's the Batmobile.
Well, like ours has like,
Batmobile.
Look, let me tell you that I love going to see the lights. And I mean, again, that has definitely become a tradition for me ever since I moved down here. Not something that I ever really did before. But ever since I've come down here, and I wouldn't say I go every year, but I try to every year.
Yeah.
But every year, even though you're seeing like the same thing, it's still like we have the whole like the Budweiser Clydesdales.
I know.
It's like
it's crazy.
How cool is that? Like, and you're right. We have the Batmobile. We have a '57 Chevy. We have we have the purple people eater for crying out loud.
I know.
With the little legs.
Yeah. There's, I think that's why I just think the ones we have, it's like they're a lot more impressive to me.
Yeah.
Than the ones. Sorry, LaSalle Peru area. I feel bad.
Well, I didn't know that.
And we'll
LaSalle,
go again.
Well, I didn't know that LaSalle Peru had one.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know either. But man, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, we're gonna try to go to those. I think next week when my wife is off work.
Okay.
Because she's a teacher, so she'll be.
Yeah.
We just had her Christmas concert. So that's always kind of a tradition too. Because my family over the years, it's like. We always have, I had all the Christmas, my brothers had Christmas concerts. I had the Christmas concerts. My little sister is like 12 years younger than me. So eventually we were going to all her Christmas concerts. So.
Well, I brought up the children's program at my church, the home church. And it is kind of funny to talk to my, my parents and all that. Because it's like, here my parents, they went, of course, all the years that I was in there.
Yeah, right.
And then my sister's a few years older, and she had kids younger, and so then she had kids.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't live in the area, so my kids didn't go. But there were other people around that had kids, and so my parents would still go.
Mm-hmm.
And now my brother has kids that are young, and they're just starting in it, and so it's like, well, they got.
Got more people
they got like another 20 years in that thing.
You're right.
And, again, it's tradition. They're going to go anyway just because that's what you do. Mm-hmm. It's Christmas Eve. That's what you do. You got to go to the kids program. But it's like, it is funny that I don't think there has been maybe 1 or 2 years in seriously in the past like 30 years that they have not known somebody in the kids program.
Oh, yeah.
At St. John's in Beaufort, Missouri. It's just so funny.
Well, I'm sure Beaufort is probably more than like my hometown where you know everybody.
Oh, yeah, you know everybody.
That's the weirdest. Now, this is getting a little off topic, sorry, but my wife took a job that is in our hometown. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife are both from the same town. And so she's teaching at my old school. And what's so weird is, I don't think much about it, but then like we went to the concert and it's like there's lots of people like, oh, hey, how you doing? I know a lot of people. And those people went to my church growing up. Oh, how you? Oh, you got grandkids. That's cool. And then I saw my best friend in middle school. His brother was there, and I really was close with his family. So I saw his mom. I saw his older brother, and I'm like, what are you guys doing in here? He's like, well, my daughter's in 5th grade. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like so. It's like there's always somebody. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But yeah, so I'm assuming for them in Beaufort, Missouri, they probably
they
know
always,
every single solitary person there.
They knew everybody, but like in terms of like actually having like a kid or a grandkid or something in it, it's like there's like maybe a couple years where they didn't have anybody, but other than that, it's like there's always somebody.
Right.
It's always somebody. But yeah. So anyway, that's Christmas. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas Eve or Christmas morning? When do you open gifts?
We do Christmas morning.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
So now growing up, I was always a Christmas morning guy.
Yeah.
That's what my family did.
Yeah.
And then there for a while I was in the status of being converted to a Christmas Eve. But I'll be honest, it never really did work for me because I'm always so busy on Christmas Eve.
Right. Yeah, you're busy.
I'm all over the place. So it was kind of like,
That's
get
true.
home,
Yeah,
eat dinner, do this. Okay, back to church. And it's like
right.
That was kind of, again, what I would do. And so like I've kind of reconverted to Christmas morning, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, so I love Christmas for so many reasons. And I mean, one of the things that I really love about Christmas morning, and I know it's not what everybody thinks. It's actually a lot of people hate this about Christmas, but it's something that I absolutely love. You can't do anything. You're stuck. All the stores are closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I guess there's gas stations open if you wanted to travel, but no place is open. They're all closed.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. You're stuck. Mm-hmm. You're stuck at home. And you know what? I love that. I just do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love it. I love it's like it's like you take the whole thing of choice out. Like there is no choice to be made.
Yeah.
It's just like you're not going anywhere. You're home.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love getting up, relaxing in the morning, because usually the night before was a bit of a much.
Yeah.
Because again, Christmas Eve is a lot.
Yeah.
Relax, drink some coffee. Usually make good pot of coffee, and then after that, go have church service, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, coming back home, and guess what? Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do, and it's awesome. Yeah. You know, you can watch TV, you can do this, you can do that. Your kids can play with the toys or whatever it happens to be. Like, it doesn't matter. You just got like it's like that stillness, that moment where you just like, yeah. I love it. I'm sorry. I know.
I'm with you. I'm a homebody by nature.
Yeah.
So I love just relaxing, being at, and that's because that's kind of the way, at least for me, and I think most people's Christmas was always just kind of, we got up, we did our presents and everything, and then it's like we went to Grandma and Grandpa's, and then we just kind of sat around the whole day. It wasn't like we had all these activities to do or anything. And I'm sure some people nowadays, there are so many people who have so many great ideas. And, you can see them all over Pinterest and stuff.
Oh,
We got pin the tail on the reindeer, and we got this. We didn't have any of that. It was like go down to the basement and, do something. Just get away from the adults.
Right.
But I always tell this is, we have some home videos and stuff. And my grandfather, he could be a bit of a crotchety guy, and we have a video of him literally going, there's kids running around all over the place, and they go, Grandpa, how's your Christmas going? He goes, be pretty good if it wasn't for all these kids. And he may or may not have used some colorful language in there at the same time. And I'll never forget that video. Makes me laugh so hard because he was telling the complete truth. But but we didn't have a plan, we just went
exactly,
and we just like hung around. I remember. Do you remember I'm going off. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
This is probably the most I've ever talked on a podcast. You remember the movie Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah, I remember that movie.
So when that came out, my cousins, one of them got it for Christmas, and we watched it 3 times on Christmas Day.
Vote for Pedro.
Yeah, we just went downstairs and we watched it once, and it was like, that was so funny, because at the time it was like this, everybody thought it was this groundbreaking thing, which it kind of was. And then we were just, it was like, well, we got like an hour and a half till lunch. Let's watch it again. And then after lunch, we're like, we got nothing to do. Let's watch it again. We just watch it again. Watch it. Napoleon Dynamite 3 times in one day on Christmas. That's what we did.
That does bring me up to another question.
Yeah.
Christmas movies.
Oh, yes.
Are there like Christmas movies that you watch every year? Mm-hmm. Are there some that you watch with the family, some that you watch by yourself? What are your Christmas movies?
My Christmas movies?
Yes.
I would have to say Christmas Vacation is like probably my number one for sure.
Yeah.
It's just every time I watch that movie, it's funnier and funnier. And there's lines I've never caught before that's hilarious.
Well, and it seems like the older you get, the more you identify with other parts of the movie.
Yes, yeah,
right?
Very much so. It's so funny. That movie is it's nonsense. Like every line is hilarious in that movie. It's so good.
We just hope that you don't grow up to the point where you identify with Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hope not. I think I really hope not.
There's an RV, Clark.
It's got so many quotable lines.
Really
that's what's so good about it. It's so funny. That's probably my number one.
Okay.
I would say the one, though, that actually it kind of makes me sad, because we had sort of a tradition, and this was kind of before all my siblings had kids and everything, because once there was kids, it was we just couldn't watch it because it was too rowdy. But we would watch It's a Wonderful Life every year, which is my mom's absolute favorite Christmas movie. Yeah. And we know that movie so well, and we have so many jokes about it that we would, it was just a comedy routine the whole time.
Yeah.
Because we would just riff off of that movie the whole time. Like, oh, hot dog and stuff, like all the different things. But then once there was kids, it was just too, they were all over. You couldn't listen to the movie. So we're like, wow. But we used to watch that every year and just make fun of it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But that would be. I mean, those are my. I'll let. How would you start with your? Because I got other stuff I can bring up about the movie.
Well, I mean, obviously, Christmas Vacation has to be on the list somewhere. I mean,
yeah,
it's just a great one. It really, really is. But I probably have two movies that, even for me, I'd probably put ahead of that.
yeah,
And the one is the one that everybody knows is coming, especially for me, if you know me at all.
yeah.
So Die Hard 1
Okay,
has to be mentioned.
all right, we're going that route. Okay, I get you.
It's a Christmas
It
movie.
It is
a
for sure. They say
is-
Christmas more than I can't remember what. Well, a lot of movies actually. I think it's like It's a Wonderful Life. I think someone added up, and it's like they say Christmas more in Die Hard than It's a Wonderful Life.
That's right. It's Christmas. It's Christmas all the way. So I watch Die Hard once a year. Usually on Christmas Day or the day after Christmas, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like my decompression after the long weekend. A loving member actually bought me an advent calendar this year with Hans Gruber on it. Now, Hans Gruber is the villain in the movie, and it's a cutout of Nakatomi Tower, and you count down by him falling.
Him falling, yeah.
He's so it's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off Nakatomi Tower.
That is really funny.
So
good.
absolutely Die Hard. I will say I watched Die Hard 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Die Hard 1 is the one that I feel like I have to watch
it's
though.
A classic, yeah.
Die Hard 2 is not as good as Die Hard 1, but I do kind of consider it in that same genre.
Yeah.
After that, Die Hard 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, they're all nah.
Yeah.
Like they tried to add too much to it. It's like the first two were fantastic. Again, first one great, second one it's okay for a sequel. It's good. It's worth a watch. But after that, it's like meh.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Willis, but yeah, it's eh. And then the second, so that's obviously my number one. Now the second one is probably my more traditional Christmas movie that I love to watch.
Yeah.
And it's Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And it's the 1947 edition that's black and white.
Okay, I was going to ask, which edition?
Yeah, the 1947 edition. I actually own the physical and digital copy of it, and I don't know if I watch that one every year, but I sure come close. I just do. I love that movie.
We always watch the. I think maybe in the 90s they made it, the remake. I've watched that one. We watched that one a bunch. I've never seen the original though.
You've never seen the 47?
I've never seen the original one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've sat through the later edition once. Yeah. And it has the guy from Jurassic Park in it, so I know that much.
Yeah.
The old man.
Yeah, the old man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Santa. Anyway,
That's right.
But yeah, no, I watched the 1947 edition. I actually watch it in black and white even. Yeah. I actually own a version that's like colorized where they added color, but I don't like that one as much as the black and white. I actually prefer the black and white.
Interesting. Yeah. That's
That's
interesting. So those are like your top. Those are your top.
Yep.
Now we got to get on this subject.
Though. Yeah, we do.
Can you sit through a Hallmark movie? A Hallmark Christmas movie.
Okay. We got to have some follow-up questions.
All right.
Can I make fun of the movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well then, yeah.
I mean,
as long as I can make fun of it, I'm good.
I mean, I don't. Can anybody? I mean, I can watch them, love them, and still make fun of them. I mean,
oh yeah.
Is anybody? I hope. I mean, is anybody offended if someone's making fun of them? Well, let's see. I guess.
I'm sure somebody gets offended.
Get in the comments.
Yep.
But no, they're one of those things where I can turn those on while I'm working, and it's you know how it's going to end.
Oh man!
Know? So it's not like a big high stress thing if I miss a couple lines, while I'm doing something. But they're always fun.
I straight up Mystery Science Theater 3000 that thing.
Yeah, right. That's the best way to do it.
That is the best way to do it.
And I recently actually on my, not to bring it up again, but my Power Ranger channel, I did a video about, I called it, so you want to watch Power Rangers, but your like girlfriend or wife wants to watch Christmas movies. And it's all because Hallmark movies are a certain level of actor or actress.
Yeah.
They're not really like walking the red carpet at the Oscars.
Yeah.
But they might have been someone who had some success back in the day, like they're on a big TV show and they've never, and it's kind of like they're kind of in that zone. And there are a lot of Power Ranger actors who have done some Hallmark movies.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So for me, if I can find a Hallmark movie starring a Power Ranger, I'm all for it. I'm game. I'll watch it.
I haven't. I've only watched a select few and actually made it all the way through. I will say though that I have to watch. There's one of them that was actually filmed close to where I live, and I need to watch it. Well, about 35, 40 minutes from where I grew up is Herman, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
And Herman, Missouri is known for their wine and wineries and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people will talk about Herman. Well, there's one that was filmed in Herman, and it's called Vintage of Love or something like that.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime, but I have to
Vintage of Love.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
I gotta watch it. It's filmed in Herman, and so it's like, oh, okay. I'll probably sit through that one. I've sat through several of them. But yeah, I think
I've sat through several of them. Sound real enjoyable.
Well, okay, they're not enjoyable. Well, okay, but here's the thing. And I will readily admit this is not all of them. I am, of course, paraphrasing a goodly portion of them, though.
Yes.
When I say they have the same plot, and everybody knows that the same plot is there.
Yes, of course.
But this is the plot that irritates me the most. Mm-hmm. And it's not all of them. Not all of them are like this. Again, I think enough of them are like it to where it's okay for me to say, yeah, most of them are. But here's the plot twist that irks me. It's some big city girl.
Of course.
She's going back home for Christmas
to Beaufort, Missouri.
Yeah, probably. But here's the part that really bugs me. When she has a fiance that's stuck in the city working.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. They always make this guy out to be a jerk.
Oh, he's an awful guy, yeah.
He's an awful guy.
He's a slimeball.
He's an absolute slimeball.
And he's probably hitting on other chicks while his fiance is in Beaufort, Missouri.
But while she's in Beaufort, Missouri, guess what she's doing?
She's flirting.
She's flirting with the local townie.
That's right.
Who's wearing his flannel. And he gave up his booming career to help kids.
That's right.
Or something like that, or whatever it happens to be. And again, that's, to be honest with you, that's the part that irritates me. It's the aspect where, in this movie setting, we somehow accept cheating like it's okay.
I understand that. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I mean, as hard of a time as I give the Hallmark movies, most of them are completely okay. Yes, predictable, but they're fun for Christmas, and if you like the little romance thing, it's fine. I mean, look, I literally just got done telling you that I watch Die Hard every single year. I can't really criticize the person that's going to actually sit down and watch a movie that has the same plot with different actors and actresses.
Do you think the hero's going to win in the end?
Yeah, I mean, right? What's going to happen
killed by
here?
all the terrorists?
But at the same time, I will say that plot line, and it's in a lot of those, has really irked me. I don't care how much of a jerk this guy is. You break up with him, and then you go out with homeboy over here.
Well, usually they do that. I mean, they usually do that where, after she just can't do it, even though she has feelings for this person. And then, they witness him being a jerk, or witness him cheating on her.
Yeah.
Deal's off. Yeah.
I think it's a lesson in us, we need to learn how to set up boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not okay to go to the ice rink with homeboy over there, just saying.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
I'll be honest with that has always irked me. That particular plot line, and it's in a lot of them, but that has irked me to no end, which is why I think I bring it up so much.
And I think that's something because when I see the more recent ones, I feel like they typically keep it pretty I think they kind of avoid that now. Maybe sure. I might be wrong. But
I will be honest. The last couple of them that I have seen, I have not. They did not have that plot line.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ones I saw in the previous years,
yeah,
definitely had that plot line.
Yeah. Well, so like there's, I don't know, because I've watched some that are older, like because now they're getting to the point where some of these are like 10, 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Now. So I watched one that's probably like kind of back 8 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. And that one, the thing that's interesting to me is that they have it kind of a like this girl's dating the guy. He has an ex-wife who is kind of a egomaniac, and that's always been a problem and stuff with their daughter and stuff, whatever. So the thing that about that movie that was interesting to me is that there is very clearly a villain in the movie. Like, she is kind of a villain, and then her dad or the ex-father-in-law, he's kind of a villain. And they're kind of trying to control this guy's daughter, and then they're kind of ruining his relationship with this other girl. And I thought, this is interesting because a lot of these movies now really establish that there is really no villain. It's all just happy-go-lucky, and it's always a miscommunication that causes the rift, not an actual something bad happening. So I think they kind of learned over time, like, if we just find a way to keep everybody basically, in the clear, no one's really a bad guy, but we just have a little miscommunication that causes a ruckus, and then they figure it out, and then they're all happy and back together.
Oh, yeah.
That's the perfect way to do it. And I think they've discovered that over time. But some of those older, sometimes every once in a while they have a villain, or they have the fiance who's a kind of a jerk, actually, and all that stuff. But, it's I don't know. It's an interesting.
It's kind of a shift, though. I mean, and to be honest with you, though, like, you've kind of seen that. Like, I hate to say it, but like when I was a kid, like even your cartoons and stuff, like it had a very clear villain. This is a bad guy.
Yeah.
This is the good guy. And like nowadays, when you go into the villains, like a lot of times you're like, oh wow, that villain has a good point. You're like, it's like they try to make the villains understandable.
Yes.
And I have actually noticed that. Now, before we get too far off, because this is definitely a topic I could go all over the place on.
Right, I could go on forever.
I heard this somebody told me this the other day, and I was like, no, that can't be true. So I looked it up while we were on the air.
Yes.
Guess how many new Christmas Hallmark movies came out this year?
Okay, is this strictly Hallmark Channel? Or is this like the genre of Christmas, like romantic movies, kind of in that style?
Hallmark Christmas Movie Calendar 2023, the full schedule.
Okay, the brand new ones this year, not former ones they're still playing.
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to guess, we're going to see. I'm going to guess 50.
You are really close.
Yeah?
42.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? There's
42.
There's more movies than there are days in December.
There are 42 movies.
They have a new movie every single day, and sometimes 2 new movies.
Hallmark Channel's Countdown to Christmas began Friday, October 20th, and runs all the way through this Thursday, December 21st, and it includes 31 film premieres. And then they will launch another 9 originals. And then the grand total after that, plus whatever else they have, is 42.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think they said that they can make, at least maybe it's changed now, but I think they've managed to make these movies for right about $1 million a piece, which is crazy low for a movie.
Yeah.
Really. And so you think about if they can make $42 million and pay for 42 movies, that's like insane.
That's crazy.
And in my extensive research into Hallmark movies involving Power Rangers, there's one guy who he actually is in a movie that's called like Sister Swap or something, Holiday Sister Swap. And it's one of them's she's a city girl and the other sister is a country girl. And they actually came out with 2 movies same year, where it's one movie is the city girl goes to the country and stays with her sister, and then the other one is the country girl goes into the city and stays with her sister. And they did, I was looking like, well, which one came first? They came out the same year. Like, they're like, yeah, this will be great. We'll just make 2 of them. Let's do it. Which actually is probably a pretty good idea. You already have everybody there.
Same
you just
everything.
keep going.
Just keep on rocking.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I honestly, I find Hallmark fascinating myself. I just think it's very interesting. The whole how they just pump this stuff out like crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
But I think it really reminds me of like that's really what movies like MGM movies back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it was the same thing. They used to make movies like crazy, like White Christmas or Holiday Inn. Those are ones that my family always watched too. But those were like Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye or these guys.
True.
They would just grab a couple, like a pair, like a singer and a comedian or a singer and a dancer, put them in a movie together, and they would pump those things out like so quick. And so it's kind of funny because you say like, well, this is crazy. It's like, well, they kind of did the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've always kind of done this.
Well, yeah, like whatever will make money, right? I mean, but it's just so funny.
Yeah. It's,
Man, 42 festive movies.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That is just crazy to me.
I know. It's crazy. It's, man, that's funny, though. They really know how to do it,
They know. They have the secret formula. That's what they do. Yep.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. All right, we've covered so much territory, and I'm just trying to think what else we got to cover.
Anything else that's we covered Hallmark. We covered
we did.
And
no, I have no idea what Taylor Swift is doing for Christmas. I don't even care.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we don't really have a whole lot for church chatter.
Yeah, we don't.
But we can at least say and remind everybody that that we will have regular services on Sunday. So that is on New Year's Eve, and we will have our regular 8 a.m. traditional and our 10:45 contemporary service. So we will have that. I think everybody out there, I hope you guys had a good and Merry Christmas. And I know Casey and I are wishing all of you a Happy New Year.
Yes.
And so God's blessings to all of you. And our next podcast will be in the new year.
That's
the good
right.
old 2024.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. God's blessings, everybody. Bye.
Bye.